Councillor Sheen.
Aye.
Oh, if you could just read the resolution to come out of camera, please, Deepak.
Resolved that as per section 152.4 of the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting of regular meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, I see we do have a few people on Zoom. We are going to be moving into our public hearing for subdivision file S21 2896, and the process that we'll be using, as we do all the time for our public hearings, is the planner will present the application. The applicant will have an opportunity to add any comments that they may have, and then I will ask for people in the audience, those that are for the application and those that are against, and if there's anybody here just for information, then they will have an opportunity to speak. I will let everybody know if someone does come onto Zoom late, or if you haven't registered, I will ask at the end of all the people that I have registered if there's anybody else who wishes to speak, and we'll go from there. So with that, I will ask for a resolution to open the public hearing for subdivision file S21 2896.
Resolved the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for S21 of 2896.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And for those in the audience, I should let you know that most of council is here in the council chamber. We have Councillor Belanger is attending via Zoom this evening, and we do have our planner, Pawan Gill, who is also attending via Zoom. So with that, I will ask Pawan to please review the subdivision application for us.
Okay, I'll stop my share, Pawan, now you can take over.
You want, is that coming on your end there?
Yes,
Yes.
it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, Pawan.
Okay. Yes. So the item for 715 is subdivision application S21 2896. This is located at the Road 99 North and PTH 59 under roll number 683625, being a part of Northeast for section 15-17-7 of each of the partner areas. The application is to subdivide the subject property within the recreation tourism zone in order to create 20 new proposed lots with new proposed roads and public reserve areas as part of the application. The subject property here highlighted in black is currently in our understanding a vacant property well dense with trees. And here is the applicant's subdivision application map. The the subdivision application map as presented is generally consistent with the development plan as well as the recreation tourism zoning bylaw requirements for lot size and area. Therefore, as such, the Red River Planning Office has recommended approval of the application subject to conditions of approval. And I will just go through my analysis with regard to the zoning bylaw first of all. The minimum requirements for site area in this recreation tourism zone is 60,000 square feet. And for our analysis of the lot sizes that are presented, the lot sizes range from roughly 50,000 square feet to 1,270,002 square feet, with the majority of the lots being within 60,000 to 61,000 square feet. From a site width perspective, the lots do range from 200 feet to areas at width sizes, site width as great as 329 feet. Please note that for lots 26, 28, and 27, the applicant didn't provide the site width. However, they are well over the 200 feet requirement as indicated. I think these lots are an opportunity to discuss further, not for future subdivision consideration potentially. Again, the application was circulated to government agencies, and I will go through that a little bit later on, but I will talk about the development plan. Within the development plan, this property is designated as resort, and there are policy considerations that outlines for council, particularly policy 4.42, where they're making sure that resort destinations are simply separated with any existing agricultural operation. From our scope of the area, it doesn't appear to be any significant operations of agriculture at present. Generally, the properties around the subject properties are well dense with trees, as well as other residential development. Under policy 4.41, there is a policy regarding if there is any impact on agriculture on the existing lots. Right now, the property doesn't appear to be farmed. It is again well dense, appears to be with mature trees. The intent of the subdivision application, as presented by the applicant, it is actually to subdivide the property to create residential lots. And again, all lots do meet the RT zoning with regards to the site areas and site width. However, council may want to note that the RT zoning is part of the commercial zone within the zoning bylaw. In addition to a residential zone, the RT zone permits various commercial uses such as retail businesses, restaurants, cabarets, and cocktail lounges, and amusement enterprises. If council approves this application, we have recommended that the council may consider a zoning agreement as part of the recommendation in order to limit the development as intended by the applicant to be for residential dwelling. As included part of this agreement, council may want to address items such as dwelling size, building height, number of accessory buildings, maximum size and height of accessory buildings, and any other residential parameters related to development of the lot. And this has been noted as condition number 6 within the council recommendation. I want to note that this application was circulated to members of the Infrastructure Highway Design Branch, and from our letter received on April 27th, the branch did request our office that the application be referred to LDRM and Design District comes up with a concept plan with the area. We did have a meeting on April 14th regarding this application, and we did inform the Highway branch that we are obligated to bring this application forward to council for their consider on this letter. But however, they did not provide any follow-up comments on any other conditions regarding this matter. However, they were informed that this would be bringing forward to the council. Comments from other government agencies included easement agreements for Manitoba Hydro and LMPS have been included part of the recommendation. Canada Post requires applicants to discuss mail delivery options for the new development as per the attachment on March 30th of 2021. RMS administration, including WSP, comments have detailed requirements related to development agreements such as road construction, drainage, and letter of credit as part of their condition. This is reflected in conditions number 1 and 2. At this point, Madam Mayor, do you want me to read these conditions, or we are ready to speak to the other individuals?
I think so that everybody has the information is perhaps you could read the conditions out. And then we'll go from there and we'll see if the applicant has anything to add, and then those who, or council has any questions, the applicant, and then those who have joined us to comment.
Madam Mayor, if council recommends a considered recommendation of this, if council considers approval of this application, our office recommends the following. And we have 6 conditions for council's consideration. Number 1, the applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that 1A, taxes on the land to be subdivided in the current year and any arrears have been paid. 1B, development levies and administrative fee to be paid as per bylaw 14-2009. 1C, digital copy of the plan of subdivision be provided to the RMS increment. 1D, grading plan be prepared to indicate positive drainage on the proposed property to the satisfaction of the RMS increment, and to ensure that the proposed property does not drain onto or impede drainage to the neighboring property. 1E, confirmation that there is sufficient storage provided on the site such that post-development storm runoff from the proposed development does not exceed pre-development conditions. And 1F, an engineered road plan be prepared as per municipal service standards. Condition number 2, applicant owner enters into a development agreement with the municipality to address the items including but not limited to 2A, an engineer road and drainage plan and easement plan, if required. 2B, a letter of credit for drainage work and road construction. Number 3, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro and Central Gas that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and/or future facilities associated with subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval, and contact information for Manitoba Hydro has been provided. Number 4, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Bell MTS that an easement agreement has been entered into with Bell MTS with respect to existing and/or future facilities associated with subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval. Condition number 5, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Canada Post that conditions for delivery options have been satisfied. And contact information of Paul Semco, delivery planning officer, has been provided at 204-228-3740. Number 6, the applicant order to enter into a development agreement with the R of St. Clement to address items related to, but not limited to residential development, including addressing items related to dwelling size and height, accessory buildings, and any other residential development related items within the zoning region. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you very much for that, Paul, and I will now ask if there's any members of council that have questions for the planner. Okay, I don't see any hands going up, and no one is saying anything at the moment, so I'm now going to ask, I see that the applicant has joined us, and I'm going to ask if at this point in time he has anything to add to his application.
No, I don't.
Okay, and I guess as we said, there have been a couple of people that did register to speak on this application, and there are a couple that are opposed, and one is for information only. So the first one I have is Delilah Yosik and George Chuckery. Are you on Zoom?
Yes, we are.
Okay, can you just, because you are on Zoom, can you state your name for the record so that we can have it in our minutes?
Delilah Yosik.
George Jeffrey.
Okay, and we do have a letter from you that will be read into the minutes, but do you have anything further to add to your letter?
Not at this time.
Okay, so your letter for now is good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have one other gentleman that wanted to speak in opposition of this application, and that is Scott Valneves. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, Scott. But if you have anything, I know that you had also submitted a letter. Do you have anything that you want to add to your letter? You are on mute, so you're going to have to unmute yourself, please.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Okay, fabulous. No, I don't have anything. I think everything that I needed to say was in the letter.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I see that there are a couple other people here. Monica Dack, I know that you had said for information. Is there anything that you want to add at this point in time?
No, not at this point of time.
Thank you. And the last one I have is Susan Nishishin. Do you have anything that you want to add? I see that you weren't on our list here.
Susan Yushishin is the host for Delilah and George.
Okay. So
We're using her Zoom account.
you're using her Zoom account. Okay, so
Yeah.
that answered that part of it. And I believe the person that is listed as Katja was for a variation order that was already dealt with this evening. So I don't believe you have anything to add to this subdivision application. Okay, thank you for that. So is there anything else that council is wanting to ask the planner or the applicant this evening? I guess the only thing that we haven't done is we haven't read the objection letters into the record. So Colin, can you please do that for us?
Madam Mayor, we received two objection letters.
Yeah,
So I'll go from the first one, Delilah and George. Delilah, sorry, the spelling of the last name is Y-O-S-Y-K. And George, spelling the last name is Chuckry, that's C-H-U-C-K-R-Y. Location of the address from their property is 39122 Road 99 North. And objection to subdivision application S212896. This is number and type of lot. The application as posted states to subdivide the subject property within the recreation tourism zone in order to create 28 new proposed lots with new proposed roads and public reserve areas as part of the application. The detailed drawing, which wasn't available until Friday afternoon when the agenda was published, shows that the 28 lots are actually 25 small lots, all clustered on the north half of the property and surrounding our property. There is a mention that there are 3 remaining large lots may be potentially left for future subdivision, which would considerably increase the number of lots beyond the initial 28 as shown. The lack of detail in the earlier announcement is concerning. It is unclear in the subdivision application what type of dwellings are going to be put on the property. Will these be cottages, or is this planned for an RV/trailer park? Will these be seasonal residents or permanent homes, where school bus service might be required? Road 99 North. Road 99 North is shown on the map that does not go all the way through. It is currently only goes 1/4 of the mile and ends just prior to the driveway to our property. The map shows that it goes across the entire section, which is incorrect. Prior requests to the RMLC permits to extend the road have been denied, as RM has denied, as stated, it is not feasible for the road to continue to PR 500 due to severe swamp.
Okay.
The portion of the Road 99 North that does not currently exist cannot handle the proposed increase in traffic volume from the additional lots. The next issue with Road 99 North relates to the intersection of Road 99 North and Highway 59. The medical committee has recommended that this application be deferred.
excuse me, if somebody does not have their microphone muted, can you please mute it, because we're having some feedback here in the council chamber.
I've muted them.
Thank you.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I'll just continue on with
Yes,
that.
please go ahead.
Yes, so the next issue with Road 99 North relates to the intersection of Road 99 North and Highway 59. Manitoba Infrastructure has recommended this application be deferred. A conceptual plan of the resort area to be reviewed and approved by them. As far as we are aware, that has not yet happened. We are questioning why the planning district is still recommending approval to the site manager by infrastructure. The intersection has a significant incline as the road meets the highway, making it difficult for vehicles on the Road 99 North to see traffic on the Highway 59. Traffic on the Highway 59 is also coming up slope, so it is difficult to see traffic coming from the north, pulling out onto the Highway 50. In addition, making the left turn across Highway 59 into Road 99 during the peak beach season is also very dangerous, as there is no turning lane, and we often choose to turn left at PR 500, where there is a turning lane, and detour around and come back to Highway 59 on Road 100 and come back to 99 from the north. This is approximately a 5-mile detour. Adding significant additional traffic volume to an intersection that is already at high risk of significant traffic accidents does not seem to be a smart decision. Well, item 4.4, clause 6 on the planning district report mentions that the proposed development will be adequately serviced with potable drinking water. According to the provincial well registry, there have been 10 wells dug in the area in the past few years, and 6 of them have dried up, and 1 is at half capacity from when it is originally dug. 1 well was drilled to 427 feet with no water. Status of the remaining 2 are unknown. It seems unlikely that the area can sustain additional wells. Surface water drainage. Our property requires a significant volume of material to bring it high enough for proper surface water drainage. The area immediately to the west and south of our property in the proposed subdivision is currently slumped and will need a lot of material to ensure proper drainage to prevent issues with water runoff onto adjacent property. Wastewater services. Under proposed servicing and infrastructure dimensions, wastewater services as other present and holding tank proposed. What are the other that is referred to here? Commercial uses. The report mentions that the RT zoning in general permits commercial development that has the possibility of increasing traffic flows even more and making the intersection even more dangerous. Will council be putting additional restrictions on the applicant to restrict future commercial use of the property? And that is from George and Delilah, 39-122 Road, 99 North.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I have
Paul,
maybe
before
another
you,
letter.
yeah, before you go any further, I'll read the second letter. That one was pretty lengthy, and I'll read the second one here that we have. So it's the same one that you that you received on June. It's dated June the 22nd of 2021, and that is from Scott. And I believe Scott is with us this evening. It's re-subdivision application S212896. To whom it may concern. As property owners of 99008 PTH 59, we have several concerns about the new proposed subdivision being proposed off-road 99. 1. Per subdivision policy 4.4.12.4, Road 99 is not particularly well developed. The road has never been put through to PR 500, Lakeshore Road, and dead ends slightly past a quarter mile from PTH 59. In the winter, the road is often left unplowed for some time. Number 2, per subdivision policy 4.4.12.5, access not to interfere with provincial highways. Manitoba Infrastructure has indicated that this proposal should be deferred until concerns regarding traffic safety be addressed. Currently, that intersection services only 5 potential residents. The residents to the east of PTH 59, 1 single-family dwelling and 1 infrequent commercial access for service to the TELUS cell tower, which are in St. Andrews Municipality, and 3 single-family dwellings in the RM of St. Clements. This intersection has no light and nighttime visibility is non-existent, as there are no significant sources of illumination in the area to even indicate where the intersection is. This subdivision proposal includes both a commercial aspect as well as almost 30 lots, with more to be added later in later phases. The intersection sits on top of a small hill, and when approaching from the south, you cannot see oncoming traffic until you are at the intersection. My wife and I have to be particularly cautious when turning onto our driveway, as oncoming traffic is not visible until you have arrived at the intersection. Greatly increasing the number of residents in the area will greatly increase the likelihood of a head-on collision. This is further exacerbated by the fact that Road 99 is not connected to PR 500, Lakeshore Road, so turning off at the much better designed intersection with a light for nighttime visibility and coming into the subdivision from PR 500 is not an option. Number 3, per subdivision policy 4.4.12.6 regarding potable drinking water. Some thought needs to be put to this. My own well feeds at less than 1.5 gallons a minute, even though it is a deep well at 185 feet. My understanding from our neighbors, George and Delilah, currently on Road 99, is their well is similarly low flow. Anecdotally, we have heard of several wells in the area drying up over the last few years. There is significant risk, in my admittedly inexpert opinion, that there might not be enough access to potable water, and those of us in the area who are already having to watch our water consumption might end up with dry wells as well. A more thorough investigation ought to be conducted by the Manitoba Office of Drinking Water. Number 4, per subdivision policy 4.4.12.7, access to local services, a significant increase in the number of residences in the area is likely to produce a commensurate increase in crime. Currently, the nearest policing resources are either the very small RCMP detachment in Grand Marais or the larger one in Selkirk. Has any study been undertaken as to what the impact of policing resources will be? To a certain extent, those of us at the intersection have been able to enjoy a certain amount of security through obscurity, in that with so few people in the area, our little corner is easy to pass by for criminals, since there's no opportunity for profit in the area. By putting a larger subdivision with this associated increase in things worth stealing, the corner of 59 and Road 99 becomes a much more attractive target. Number 5, per subdivision policy 4.4.12.7, access to drainage. I can say from personal experience that in the years we've owned our property, absolutely no ditch maintenance has happened. We quite often have standing water in the ditches on Road 99, producing copious mosquitoes. The reason for this is that the silting up of the exits of the ditches where they drain onto the main ditch along PTH 59. It would seem to me that this should be addressed before any subdivision which would cause increased runoff due to deforestation of the area be put in. Further concerns of ours have to do with changing of the nature of the area. Currently, this section of the RM of St. Clements is generally pastoral, with large-sized lots, 10 acres or more. There are no subdivisions of small lots in this area, with most of those being situated down off of PR 500, where access to the water is desired. This would represent a significant change to this particular area of the RM, and I'm concerned that given the lack, sorry about that, my screen just disappeared. Given the lack of good road access and marginal water supply, negative impacts will be felt not only by those of us already here, but by those who purchase one of these lots and build a cottage on it. It would be very disappointing to shell out significant money to install a nice new cottage and then 2 years later find that your well dried up. I would also like to note that the process for notifying residents of this new subdivision seems somewhat flawed. When the notice first went out, very little information was included, with the subsequent more detailed information package not appearing until last week, affording those of us in the area very little time to absorb the information and provide comment. I would suggest to the RM and the Red River Planning Board that in future, notice not be given until the complete information package is prepared. And it's signed sincerely, Scott Valdez. And those are the only 2 letters that we have received. So, any other questions from members of council to the applicant or the planner? Colin, do you have anything that you want to add to this application?
Not at this point in time, Madam Mayor, but if there's any questions, I would definitely answer any questions that council has.
Thank you for that. Okay, I see that there is someone else on Zoom, and I just want to make sure that it's not for this application. There is the name Webb on the Zoom attendees. Were you here for this subdivision application or a different file?
Not for this one.
Not for this one? Okay, thank you for that. With that, if council is wanting to deal with this, I'm going to ask our CAO if he has any comments he wants to add prior to us closing the public hearing on this subdivision application.
No, Madam Mayor, no additional comments.
Thank you.
Sure, why don't you?
Okay, so then I will ask for a resolution to close the public hearing on subdivision file number S212896.
Resolve the public hearing for S212896 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, I do believe that we do have a resolution, and if council is ready to deal with this application, I will ask Heather to please read the resolution for us. Is council ready to deal with the application this evening?
Yes.
And we have to remember that this is for the 28 lots. So go ahead, Heather, please.
Okay, I'm just waiting for it to open up.
Okay.
Takes a bit longer for my computer because it's updating the agenda.
Okay.
Resolve that council approve the SID application subject to the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing for the municipality stating that taxes on the lands be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. Development levies and administrative fee to be paid as per bylaw 14/2009. Digital copy of plan of subdivision be provided to the RMSA Clements. A grading plan be prepared to indicate positive drainage of the proposed property to the satisfaction of the RMSA Clements and to ensure that the proposed property does not drain onto or impede drainage for neighboring properties. Confirmation that there is sufficient storage provided on site such that post-development storm runoff from the proposed development does not exceed pre-development conditions, and an engineered road plan be prepared as per municipal servicing standards. 2, applicant owner enters into a development agreement with the municipality to address items including but not limited to an engineered road and drainage plan and easement plan if required. Letter of credit for drainage and work and road construction.
Excuse me, Heather, it appears that someone is having a hard time hearing, so can I ask you to please speak up?
That thing doesn't detect the voice. I'll try. You want
I'll get,
Yeah.
I'll take it through.
3, applicant owner submits written confirmation for Manitoba Hydro and Central Gas Manitoba that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided.
Just stop there, Heather. I'm just going to ask, Susan, are you able to hear better now? I understand that you couldn't hear what was going on. Delilah, can you hear better now? I think it came up as Susan's name, but I believe that you were using her name. Okay, Susan says, okay, I have passed the microphone over to Heather so everyone can hear what the resolution is saying, so I'm going to let her continue reading.
Number 4, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Bell MTS that an easement agreement has been entered into with Bell MTS with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition on the final certificate of approval. Applicant owner submits written confirmation from Canada Post that conditions for delivery options have been satisfied. Applicant owner enter into a zoning agreement with the RMSA Clements to address items related to limiting uses to residential development, including addressing items related to dwelling size and heights, accessory buildings, and any residential development related items with the zoning agreement.
Thank you for that, Heather. I have the microphone back here by me now, so we have, the resolution has been read, so I will now ask a mover for the application, Councillor Horbis, seconded by Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion from members of council? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Those opposed? And that is carried. Okay, I would like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. I believe that there is still one person who is wanting to speak to one of the applications. So I'm not sure what the first name is, but the last name I believe is Webb. Which application were you wanting to speak on? Or were you just listening for information?
That was the zoning.
I was just listening for item number 15 and 16, bylaw 2-2021.
Right, okay, you did not register to speak on that, and we had a little bit of a break between our variation orders and our subdivision application this evening, so we did deal with that with that bylaw, the zoning bylaw, and it has been approved. Second and third reading have been approved on that.
Okay, is it possible to have it read out again, or is it too late? We're just joining, we're just following the agenda.
Right, well, yeah, there is no public hearing or anything like that, and the resolutions will be in the minutes. It was, you know, they're quite, the resolutions are actually just to give the bylaw second reading and then to give it third reading. So I'm not exactly sure what you were wanting more about it, or what were you wanting to know about the application or the bylaw?
We were just wondering if it was sort of carried and finalized as per the first reading, and are the details of the first reading in the minutes then?
There will be a copy of the bylaw on our website, and the mover and seconder for both the second and third reading will be in our minutes. Go ahead, our CAO would like to say something, so I'm going to let him have the floor. Go ahead, Deepak.
I think to answer your questions, Mrs. Webb, the bylaw as it was submitted for first reading is how it was presented for second reading. There were no additions or changes for second and third reading.
Okay, that helps.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I guess the subdivision is been dealt with, and I believe that we may be going back in camera, so I will ask for a couple-minute recess so that we can get organized. And Heather, if you just want to stop the recording, please. Just take a little break, 2 minutes.
So, Mr. Thomas, you had said